Hey everyone, I just wanted to make this video real quick to talk about some of the advanced techniques that we have found so far in Demon Tides. So, starting off, we have what I like to call Drunk Snake. So when you're in snake mode, that's generally the fastest way to travel on land. Now you can go straight and use the camera to control your direction, as you normally would. But it is actually slightly faster to go at an angle. So if you're rotating the camera in such a way that you can hold sideways on the directional input, you will go about 7% faster compared to just going in a straight line. It's not much, you might not even notice the difference, but when you put them side by side, it is an increase in speed. So whenever you don't have much else you can do to speed up your movement, it might as well be at an angle. So this technique is very reminiscent of the drunk driving technique from the F-Zero GBA games that you might be aware of if you watch me on Twitch or any of the other videos on my channel. As such, I like to call this Drunk Snake. Next up, let's go to water movement. So obviously you can use your snake to boost in the water. It is a pretty decent way to get around. You can also jump, which will be slightly faster. Funnily enough, Drunk Snake is actually slower in the water compared to just going in a straight line. So don't make it more difficult for yourself. Just go in a straight line if that's what you want to do. Slightly faster than that is bat dive cancelling, which was found by Eleisa. So the way that works is we also use this jump as a base because you get a little speed boost at the start of it. But then we want to get back into the water as fast as possible because being up in the air here is actually not very fast. So in order to get back down as fast as possible, we use a bat dive, aka boosting while in bat form. Now you can only do that if you first exit snake form. So the sequence of inputs you'll want to do is while holding the boost button, jump, unsnake, jump, and boost. And if you do that quickly, you will land in the water, and you can chain these together, and it will be a noticeable speed increase if you can perform them consistently, if you can get your double jumps as low as possible, because again, air is the enemy here, even though we are jumping. It's okay if you mess it up a few times. If you can get most of your jumps consistently, it will be faster than just going in a straight line, either without jumping or with jumping. Now what makes it difficult is that there's these waves that do actually affect your height. So sometimes you'll be jumping from a higher point and sometimes from a lower point, and same thing with landing. So the timing is going to be quite different from if you're jumping from a peak down into a valley and vice versa. So you either can keep an eye out for the waves and time your jumps accordingly to at least have a consistent starting point. Generally, you want to jump from as low as possible. But you still have to somewhat be mindful of the height of the water that you are landing in. Also, there is a bit of time after you do your bat dive before you can do another one. So if you just jump as soon as you land, you will not be able to get your bat dive in, as well as there being a little delay before you can even jump in general after you fall into the water. So those are things to keep in mind. There is also the snake boating ability that you can buy from Migi right from the start of the game. Makes you go about 50% faster, so it's very useful. Jumping will be even more worth it at this point compared to not having snake boating. And the bat dive cancelling is still worth it, but less so. So if you mess it up, it's gonna very quickly become worse than just normal jumping. But if you're consistent at it, you might save a couple seconds at best when you're traveling between islands. Execution-wise, not much is different. You just have to be better at it for it to be worth it. Now, even better than that technique is to use the paraglider cancelling. This was found by kaloncpu and may have also independently have been found by keiron. So what you do is you once again start with a jump, and then you activate the paraglider, which will give you a little speed boost, which you can kind of tell by the way the camera like zooms. And ideally, you once again go back into the water as fast as possible. So to do that, you immediately cancel the paraglider as soon as it starts up by pressing the same button again. So this is also much easier on execution than bad dive cancelling. So as soon as you get this talisman and you want to just travel the ocean very fast, this is your go-to strategy. Now this works both with and without snakeboating. So ideally you combine these two and you can go very fast. Now the final thing I want to talk about for today is using the Spincopter talisman. So the paraglider you get as a reward for the Mr. Mint challenge in the Sunken Neighborhood. So once you get that, you can start using it. As for Spincopter, it is another ability that is available from the start of the game. You can buy it from Migi for 25 items. So what the Spincopter does is it sends you upward, but then it gives you very little horizontal movement after. So a normal spin will look like this. You can tell by holding the button you slow down quite a bit. With spin tapping you are already first off spacing out your spins so you can go further and also losing less speed. And this is how the Spincopter looks. You go really high up in a quick burst of speed, but then you kind of cap out your height and you go very slowly. You can combine this with spin tapping to go a tiny bit further, but it's pretty bad. So ideally, you want to get this height gain and then be able to move normally. So one way to do that would be jump, spin, swap to a normal loadout, and kind of go from there. You'll keep a little bit more forward speed. Again, even more so with spin tapping. But the main thing is you want to only tap your spin button once to activate it. So that was just me jumping, tapping spin while in the Spincopter, and then just holding to the side, really, or, you know, as you probably would forward. So because I'm not still holding the spin button when it caps out its height and I'm not on the Spincopter anymore, it actually lets me keep some like upward momentum as opposed to hitting that hard ceiling that normally happens. So if you time this right, you can actually get even more height from it and also definitely more distance and speed. You don't have to start in your Spincopter loadout. You can start in this one, your normal one. Enter spin mode, and then while in spin mode swap, and it still activates. So the way I've incorporated this into my movement is I have my normal loadout with all the abilities that I want to use. And then I just tap the loadout swap button twice quickly, which I've swapped to the left face button for easy access as opposed to D-pad left. And I've swapped my interact button to the right face button, which is also the item radar. But that's fine, they can overlap without any issues. And yeah, whenever I'm moving around, I can just quickly double tap, get a burst of height. If you tap too quickly, you don't get the maximum height. But usually it's still pretty good to just get you around. You just want to be sure you swap out before you hit that height ceiling that I talked about. And yeah, that'll be it for today. As we find more movement techniques, I will probably make a follow-up video. If nothing else, I will always be down to answer questions in my live streams. I will probably be streaming this game a decent amount because I've been having a lot of fun speedrunning it. Yeah, hope you all learned something, and wish you all the best of luck in your own speedruns or challenge runs or whatever you might want to do.